Orpheus. Orpheus was a Thracian enchanter around which a religious movement formed in the 6th century BC that modern historians call Orphism. There are traditions concerning the birth, life, and descent of Orpheus into the underworld, his singing among the Thracians, and his tragic death, where he is torn to pieces by a band of women. The amulet of a crucified Orpheus, dated to the 3rd or 4th century AD, picture right, is now considered a forgery. Orpheus, the citharist and enchanter, first appears around 570 BC on a small black-figured vase. He is shown walking with a determined stride and nearly surrounded by 2 sirens, great angry birds with the heads of women. Before he becomes the founding hero of a new religion, Orpheus is a voice like no other. Just as birds leave the sky and fish forsake the sea at the sound of Orpheus' song, so too do Thracian warriors who come out of the forests. In full Thracian or Oriental dress, the vases of southern Italy depict Orpheus, as he descends into the underworld, searches for his nymph wife Eurydice, or makes a daring journey to the heart of the realm of Hades. Plato summarized the Orphic way of life and its strict rules in the laws: do not touch beef, abstain from all meat, and offer the gods only cakes or fruit soaked in honey, for it is impious and unclean to eat flesh and to stain with blood the altars of the gods. The Orphics are renunciants and strive for saintliness. They devote themselves to techniques of purification in order to separate and cut themselves off from the world and from all who are subject to death and defilement. They seek to renounce completely the blood on altars, the eating of any flesh, and in doing so reject the Greek state's religious system and its differentiated gods. The Orphic gods are bizarre. To begin, the firstborn, the primal generator and generatrix, is called variously Thanes, Metis, Protagonus, or Eurypheus. Descriptions of this deity offer repeated affronts to the form of the human body. It has 2 pairs of eyes, golden wings, the voice of a lion and a bull, and organs of both sexes. There is Zeus who rules over the 5th generation of gods, and on the advice of Night, sends the firstborn straight to the pit of his belly. Thus he becomes a womb, the shell of an egg whose dimensions are those of the all. In other tales this god marries his mother and impregnates his daughter wife, who is also his mother, a double incest. The Orphic cosmogony and theogony contains many baroque deities and polymorphic monsters. In the beginning was the totality, the oneness of the all, the completeness of Thanes within the perfect sphere of primordial night. The succession of rulers passes from Thanes, via Night, to Urnus and Jatia, Cronus and Rhea, and finally to Zeus. Zeus, born of Rhea, Demeter, marries a second Demeter, and later becomes husband of yet a third Demeter, Cor, who will give birth to the infant Dionysus. That Dionysus, who was actually present in the firstborn, will institute the 6th and final generation of the gods. Differentiation of the gods takes place first through sexual activity, then through marriage, which works toward the separation of the divine powers. In recasting the gods of others, Orphism gives a special meaning to the complicity of 2 rival powers, Dionysus and Apollo, the 2 gods who sum up the whole of Greek polytheism. But Dionysus and Apollo also meet and confront each other in the tragic biography of Orpheus, in particular the indirect manner in which Orpheus is slain. Every day at dawn, Orpheus scales Mount Pangatius, the highest mountain in Thrace, since he wishes to be the first to salute the sun, the greatest of the gods, and to whom he gives the name Apollo. Dionysus is filled with resentment at this daily ritual, so he sends barbarian women, the Bassae, to surround Orpheus, seize, dismember, and tear him to pieces. The instruments of Orpheus' death are women, the fiercest and wildest representations of the feminine gender, since they appear with skewers, axes, stones, and hooks on Attic vases between 480 and 430 BC. These are women whom the voice of Orpheus is powerless to seduce, tame, or restrain. Orpheus Bacchus amulet in Berlin, from w.k.c. Guthrie, page 265 w.k.c. Guthrie of Cambridge discusses the amulet or seal of a supposed crucified Orpheus as follows. To this part of the inquiry belongs a mention of the curious and much discussed seal or amulet in Berlin. The design on this seal left square bracket figure right square bracket, which is dated in the 3rd or 4th centuries, a point D, shows a crucified man. Above the cross are a crescent moon and 7 stars, and across and below it is the legend Orpheus Bacchus. This has usually been supposed to be the work of some Gnostic sect exhibiting a syncretism of Orphic and Christian ideas. Just as Christ is to be seen in Christian monuments with the attributes of Orpheus, so here, by a tribute from the other side, Orpheus is represented in the attitude of Christ. W.K.C. Guthrie, Orpheus and Greek religion. First, the date of the amulet is to the 3rd or 4th centuries AD of the Christian era. Again, this is post-Christianity's founding, not pre-Christian. Second, the amulet may be the work of a Gnostic sect combining both Orphic and pseudo-Christian ideas, as a tribute to Jesus' crucifixion. Third, an endnote in the 1952 2nd edition of Guthrie reads: in his review of this book in Neumann, 1935, 476, Kern left square bracket German collector of the amulet right square bracket recants and expresses himself convinced by the expert opinion of J. Real and Arzan left square bracket journal named in Greek right square bracket that the left square bracket Orpheus Bacchus right square bracket gem is a forgery. For more see the discussion in Guthrie, pages 261-271 on the relations of Orphism to Christianity. There is no doubt the early Christians and all in classical Greece were impressed by the personality and legends of Orpheus, as is attested in the early Christian art of the Roman catacombs. There are several examples of crypto-Christian symbolism in the first 3 centuries AD, especially in sepulchral art and inscriptions in Asia Minor. But if there is borrowing by Christianity here, it is from the general religious atmosphere of the age, not from the Orphics, and of course all resemblance ceases when we come to details. L.